Hey everyone, welcome back to the Maze Pod. I'm your host Maisie, and I started living my dream life at 20 years old, and I'm here to share what I've picked up along the way to help you all chase your goals and live out your dreams as well. So I know we skipped last week. I know I said I wasn't taking any more breaks, but life kind of just flew by. I all of a sudden had no time to record, and then I went on a trip and just did not have any time to record when I was there. So I'm so sorry for skipping last week. I know I said no more breaks, but I think I may come up with a different schedule for posting. Still on Fridays, and I'm still going to do my mini series, but I think I am maybe going to come up with like a set schedule for each mini series and have a couple like breaks in between. I don't know. I will figure it out and update you guys next week on what I come up with. I just feel like that might be a little bit more easier for me with everything that I have going on. As you know, I'm still working dispatch. I have my own business that I am still working on, and I have some big projects like I've talked about so many times that are coming up with the rebrand and everything. And I also have my real estate investing business. So I am getting slammed in I'm finding it harder and harder to record every single week. But I'm not complaining. Like I said, this is my dream life. And I love getting on the mic and teaching you and helping you all become a better version of yourself. But at the end of the day, I might have to step back, come up with a certain schedule and deadlines for myself so it's a little bit easier, and maybe even get a production team in here to make it easier and delegate some things for me, because right now I'm literally just doing it all. But anyways, I will keep you updated on that. Like I said, I'm not complaining. I love it. The Maze Pod isn't going anywhere. Just the episodes might be a little bit more spread out. So, jumping right into segments, this week I am grateful for networking. I have met so many amazing people over the past couple of weeks, and honestly, the past couple of months, the past 3 months, I have met so many people that have changed my life. But these have been from my networking events, and as well as attending all the real estate events that I've been going to and helping put on. And I am looking forward to tonight. I actually have another real estate event that I am super excited to go to and learn and connect with everyone. And if you're in Utah and interested in coming to one of these, learning more about real estate, I can get you in for free. So just let me know. And then if I could talk to younger me, I would tell her to just roll with it. You literally cannot control everything. So when something happens, just roll with it. Just let it happen and be creative. Come up with a solution and keep moving forward. So 2 weeks ago, we kicked off this alignment mini series, and we talked about what alignment is and why it's so important for building your dream life. And also, we talked about what happens when you're living outside of alignment, which is super important. So if you missed that, go back and listen, because like all of our episodes, this one is going to build on that one. But yeah, this week we are focusing on that fuel for alignment, which is your energy. You can have a clear vision of what you want, but without the energy to pursue it, you are not going to be able to achieve it. And I remember I talk about it all the time when I was living in a time where I was completely drained, when I was in hair school and balancing dispatch full time. And yeah, so I was doing like 80-hour weeks. I've talked about it before. But yeah, I was just working excessive hours trying to please everyone else. I honestly, more than anything, wanted to drop out of hair school. I hated it. But a lot of the times, especially that stretch towards the end where I think I went 3 months without a day off, maybe 2. I can't remember. And the only day off that I got in between that was a snow day where school got canceled, and I just wasn't on the schedule to work that day. So I lucked out and finally got a break for a day. But I was so burnt out. And I was not finding any enjoyment in anything. Like I said, I hated school. I honestly, I still don't really do anything with hair. I do eyebrows, which if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen me post every once in a while about doing eyebrows for people who live close to me. But other than that, I really don't do anything with it. It's just a backup option for me. And it just was overall, that time was just really unsustainable. So then I really started paying attention to where my energy was going, and things began to shift. I was also trying to balance hanging out with friends, so I had to drop off with that for a moment, and I just let go of the things and people that weren't aligning with my values and purpose. And I mean, my energy didn't fully come back until I was graduated from school and only balancing work. But this really helped me during that time to be able to let go and have a little bit more happiness and find a little bit more enjoyment while I was pushing through that. And I honestly overall just prioritized my well-being. I think once I started doing that, I would come home every Friday after school and I would just relax and I would order my Chick-fil-A, and that was my Friday night. I wouldn't go out and hang out with anyone. I would just have a full self-care night. And doing that really made me feel a lot better while I was still in that process. But I'm here to talk to you today about those energy drains. So many things can cause this, and it varies from person to person. And I personally, I've been reading this book by Brandon Borneson called, I think that's how you say his last name, I don't know, called Whatever It Takes. And he talks about how burnout is just a mindset. And I mean, I agree with that, but I don't. I still believe that it's possible to get burnt out. But I think the only way you can truly be burnt out is if you're working on something or doing something that you're not passionate about. And so that's why I feel like I was so burnt out during that time. I can't really think of another time where I've felt that way. That's why I bring this example up so often, because I can't think of another time when I felt so burnt out, and it was because I wasn't pursuing my passion. I wasn't living my dream life. But yeah, so many different things can deplete you. So many things can cause you to burn out when it's not your passion. But some common factors actually include physical aspects, like your sleep quality and amount of sleep that you're getting. So I want you to ask yourself right now, are you getting sufficient quality sleep and not just the bare minimum? Are you eating food that's nourishing for your body, or are you just getting what's convenient? And are you moving your body in a way that feels good? If you're not, you need to make some type of change to start really aligning with your inner self and getting your energy back. Even a tiny little bit of movement a day, like going on a walk, a 5-minute walk around your office or around your neighborhood or something like that, can make a huge difference. Or even just stretching. It doesn't require anything intense, but doing these little things and prioritizing your health first is what's going to help you get your energy. And again, like we talked about, energy is the fuel for your alignment. You cannot feel aligned with yourself if you are not energized and feeling good. And sorry if you're watching on YouTube, you can see that my microphone is like shaking. I have it on the chair that I'm sitting in because I moved everything in my office. So sorry. Next time I will put it somewhere else. But yeah, that's all really about the physical aspects. If you feel like that's something you need to feel good for the day, whether it's sleep, eating a certain meal, eating a certain snack, taking a nap, whatever it is, physically that is going to help you get your energy back, you need to prioritize that and make it a non-negotiable every week or every day, however often you need to do it. Now, of course, along with the physical aspects, there are mental aspects, and This could be overthinking, replaying conversations that have already happened, worrying about the future, or dwelling on the past. This could be engaging in negative self-talk, which we have overcome in our last mini-series. Are you constantly criticizing yourself or focusing on flaws? Any of these things are significant energy drainers. I know when I've gotten sucked into these negative thoughts, I have definitely felt it and it just burns you out. There we go again with the burnout. It makes you feel more burnt out quickly, if that makes sense. And I think going along with what I said earlier, I think it's because you're not passionate about being mean to others or yourself. You're not passionate about that. I don't know anybody who is passionate about that, who has a lot of energy and just loves to hate on people or hate on themselves. That does not sound fun to me, and I don't think it sounds fun to you either. But yeah, that's a huge energy drainer, any of those things. Another thing that you should be paying attention to is your emotions, especially when you're having these thoughts. Are you feeling anger, resentment, or sadness? Or are you even dealing with toxic individuals who are just bringing so much negativity in your life? Maybe it's not even yourself. Maybe it's someone else that you love who's bringing all this negative energy to you. These emotions, especially combined with these actions, are super draining. You are not going to have energy when you're thinking these thoughts, when you're feeling these emotions, when people are bringing you these thoughts and emotions. So you need to set a boundary if this is something that someone else is bringing into your life. You need to set a boundary with them, like, hey, we cannot talk about this anymore. It's really affecting me. Or just there's so many ways that you can say it nicely, or even just don't say it at all. Just kind of like change the topic. That's what I have done. There was a couple incidences that about a year or two ago that were really bothering me, and I actually talked to a therapist about it, and he just told me. And these incidents were things that someone was telling me that were happening, and it was really just getting to me and bothering me, and I would find myself thinking about it when I was just sitting, when I was doing other things, and it was ruining a lot of experiences for me. It was not a good time. And so I told him about this, and he was like, well, just don't make it a safe spot for that person to talk about that thing. And I was like, okay. So every time I saw them, I would change the topic if they brought it up. I wouldn't really dig any deeper about the situation. I just naturally let it fade out. This person has other support systems. They don't need to talk to me about it. And I don't need to sacrifice my well-being for their problems. And you don't need to do that either. So this exercise or technique, I don't even know what to call it, really truly helped me. I have never felt a weight get lifted off my shoulder as fast as I did from that one piece of advice. So, I mean, maybe that's something that you all knew already, but that really helped me. So yeah, if it's someone that is bringing that negativity into your life, you need to set a boundary, either direct or indirect, or you can even just separate yourself from that person. You don't have to hang out with them all the time. And yeah, just don't let them bring that negativity into your life, and you will feel your energy come back really quickly. Okay, and then the next thing that needs to be addressed is social media and the news. We all use social media. Most of us watch the news. I don't. But be mindful of the time that you're spending either on these platforms or watching whatever it is, especially if you're mindlessly scrolling for hours and comparing yourself to others. That's a huge thing. Do not it's so hard to say, or it's harder to do it, actually apply it, than to just say it. But you should not be comparing yourselves to other people. And like I said, that is so much easier said than done, because even I struggle with this sometimes. I'll see other business owners or other podcasters and be like, wow, they're so much more successful than me. But I tell myself, take it back. You're literally living your dream life. You're literally fine. I usually just have to tell that voice in the back of my head to shut up, because it's not right. It's just telling me these things. And so if that's something that you're constantly doing and you find yourself comparing yourself to others a lot, take it back, look at your surroundings, get off the platform, take a walk, whatever you have to do to get your mind off of that, because it's not true. And everyone's success journey, everyone's business journey, everyone's educational journey, fitness journey, whatever it is, everyone's going to have a different progress speed, progression rate. I don't know. And everybody's journey is going to look different, no matter what it is. So don't compare how your journey is going to theirs, especially with the factor that we've talked about a lot of the highlight reel. You're probably only seeing the good parts, unless they are posting the bad parts, which not a lot of people do. I try to talk about my failures. If you're not watching on YouTube, I just said air quotes, because I don't believe in failures unless you're quitting. And my mistakes, I try to be open about those things on social media and the podcast, but I'm not going to randomly post like, today I failed, or today I did this. Usually it's at the end of a story, or when I feel like it's relevant. I don't usually do it randomly, but most people are only posting the best parts of their journey. So keep an eye out for that. And I believe so moving on to the news, I believe it was in that same Brandon Borneson book that I was just talking about, but I can't remember. So don't quote me on that. I can't remember where I heard it, but it said something like, the news is programmed to trigger your nervous system. I have very rarely seen a positive story in the news, and usually it's when I was searching for it. Because like I said, I don't watch the news daily, and some of you might think that's a bad thing. I just don't care. I feel like if there's something going on that's important enough for me to know about it, I will find out one way or another, with or without watching the news. I feel like it's a waste of my time to be keying in on what's happening in all these other people's lives. And even again on social media, I am very active on social media, but I'm not watching social media. I am on it to create strategies and to post and to be a creator. I don't really consume it. So maybe you disagree. Maybe you want to watch the news, but pay attention to how you're feeling when you're watching it. If it's making you feel terrible about the event or yourself or whatever it is, if you're having these negative emotions, then maybe you should set a boundary and watch it less. I don't know. I don't personally feel like I need to be watching the news all the time. I feel like I don't need to keep up to date with what's going on in everyone else's lives. But you do what you think is best for you. Like I said, if you're feeling those negative emotions all the time, that's a factor in your life, then you need to set a boundary. If you're watching it and you just love it, then you're fine. But yeah, the digital world can rapidly deplete your energy. And also, staring at blue light for hours on end, no matter what you're doing, whether it's watching TV or even doing something productive or working on a computer, it drains your energy so fast. When I was full-time at Dispatch, I was doing 12-hour shifts staring at 6 screens, actually like 8 because of my phone and my iPad and my computer. I would have my personal screens, and then I had all the other screens that I have to monitor while I'm on the job up. So I was getting blue light excessively. I still kind of am because I have to be on my computer and my phone to do everything in my business and in real estate. So it's not something that I've let go of, but the end of the day of a dispatch shift, I cannot explain the drain that you feel after staring at screens for that long. And I don't really feel it as much anymore with being part-time and with being on my own personal stuff. Maybe it's just because I take more breaks throughout the day. I don't really know. But blue light makes you so tired, I have noticed. Like, I have an easier time falling asleep at night when I've spent a whole day, like, on my computer than when I'm just doing normal things. And I haven't really looked up the science behind that, because I know if you look at blue light right before bed, it is not very good for your sleep quality. But I'm just talking about during the day when I'm on my screens. I get more exhausted quickly. So yeah, more of the story, the digital world can deplete your energy, whether it's through the screens directly or what you're watching. So just pay attention to what you're feeling when you're on your screens. And if you still don't really know when you're feeling drained, I personally can feel it. I usually can feel it in like the back of my throat. I know it's weird. I feel like I'm getting sick when I'm super drained. And so that's how I know I need to take a step back. Or like I've talked about before, I get upset easier. I have a lot lower of a tolerance for things. My patience level is really low. But I have paid attention to that for so long that I know that's when my limits are. If you don't know, pay attention to your body and ask yourself, are you constantly tired even after getting a good night's rest? Or do you get headaches? That's another big thing for me, is I get headaches all the time in the back of my neck when I am getting drained or overwhelmed, or even when my sleep quality is bad. But yeah, that's a big thing for me. Or muscle tension. Or if you're experiencing physical symptoms of stress, like stomach issues, consider what you're doing in your day-to-day life and take the steps to change it, because you're probably feeling drained. And another thing could be if you're struggling to focus on your tasks or you're easily distracted more than normal. If that's like been a normal thing for you your entire life, then maybe that's not a good telltale sign for you. But really just pay attention to the things that you used to feel and what you feel now. You can also feel anxious or sad or just emotionless. It's really different for everyone, so I can't give you a blueprint on exactly what it will look like. But I think it's pretty easy to tell once you start paying attention to what you're feeling. Your body, your mind, your emotions, they're all connected. That's why I have gone over these when talking about aligning with yourself and your true purpose. And yeah, they're all interconnected and they all influence each other. So you need to make sure that you're paying attention to each one of these and taking the steps necessary so that you don't get too drained. Now, once you've identified identified that these are happening, if you still don't know what is exactly causing them, start tracking them. Write it down on a journal or like a mood tracker, anything like that. Write it down, and also write down your activities that you did that day. Around the times, I would even say get so specific with yourself and write down the exact times that these things are happening when you're feeling these emotions. And pay attention to what activities are making you feel energized, focused, and motivated. Because like we talked about last episode, those are what's going to lead you to your passion. And yeah, just be honest with yourself overall. This isn't about judging yourself. This isn't about me judging you. It's about getting your information and recognizing patterns in your life so that you can change them to start living your dream life. Now, one thing that's a little bit off topic, but still super important, is to pay attention to your intuition. Your gut always knows. This was a big thing that I really had to start paying attention to a couple of years ago, because I kind of would ignore it. I would think, oh, you're just being anxious for no reason. But every time I felt that gut feeling, and I don't even have to explain it. You know what a gut feeling is. You know when you felt that before. But every time I have heard it, felt it, and not listened, I have ended up in trouble with something. So, yeah, make sure that you're paying attention to that and acknowledge what is making you feel that way. It's often an indication that either something is draining your energy or that something bad is going to happen. I don't feel like I've had this when I've been talking about like energy draining things. Like I don't feel like I get a gut feeling when I'm in that situation. But when it happens to me personally, it's usually because something bad is either going to happen or the person that I'm talking to is not trustworthy or something like that. So just really pay attention and listen to yourself when your intuition is telling you something, because you have superpowers with it. Now, last thing is boundaries. I have talked about them so many times, and I was talking about them earlier. I'm going to talk about them again. These are essential. You need to learn to say no or separate yourself from situations that are not serving you and not helping you grow. You don't have to agree to everything, and it's okay to prioritize your own needs and well-being. It's really just about setting limits that protect your time and your energy so that you can focus on your true purpose, your true passion, and your true self. Prioritize your tasks and decline any new commitments that aren't going to help you either finish those or fulfill those, things like that. Especially if you're already feeling overwhelmed, just take a step back, say, I can't do this right now. I can maybe help you with this later. Something like that. It's really just about being selective with your time and energy. That's the main key here. And don't hesitate to remove anything from your life that is not helping you, that is draining you. Even if they seem important, cut it out. It's not that important if it's at the expense of your well-being. Don't waste your time and energy on people or things that don't deserve it anymore. Time is not a renewable asset. You cannot go back and get more time. You're only given a certain amount of time to do whatever it is you want to do. So don't waste it on anyone or anything that doesn't deserve it. Sometimes the best way to get your energy back is to eliminate the sources of that depletion. So, moral of the story today is surround yourself with things that inspire you and make you feel good. You need to create a space that supports your energy and productivity, either physically or virtually. If social media and the news, or basically anything in that category, anything online is draining you, you need to unfollow or mute accounts that are sticking out, that are constantly hurting you and making you feel negative about yourself, and set boundaries with yourself, your environment, people around you, whatever it is. Set those boundaries and make sure that you're setting those non-negotiables in your schedule. If you're needing more sleep because you physically are getting sick, you are just, I can't think of all of the things that happen from a lack of sleep. I've talked about them before, and you can look them up very easily. But if you're feeling that, like you can feel it when you wake up every day, that you are so tired, even when you slept, then you need to prioritize your sleep. You need to prioritize something in your schedule to make you physically feel better. Set those non-negotiables and make your environment a place where you can thrive. And if you need to, manage your stress. Learn techniques like deep breathing, meditation, yoga, or mindfulness, any of these things. A couple months ago, I had Mikolis on. Go listen to that episode if you have not. It is only on audio platforms. That was before I did video. I can't remember what mini series it was, but I think it was in November, December. I don't know. Go listen to that episode if you haven't heard it. She is a holistic life coach, and she talked a lot about these techniques and what you can do. I will definitely link that episode in the show notes. So if you haven't listened to it, go back and listen. But yeah, I think that's really all I have. Another thing that I just thought of actually is take regular breaks and recharge yourself. And if you are getting burnt out, pay attention to what you're doing. Is it something that you're actually passionate about? Is it something that aligns with your values? If not, I know it's scary, but you need to make that change. As always, make sure to follow me on Instagram at Maisie.g09 and Maisie Greenman on Facebook. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the Maze Pod on YouTube if you're watching the video pod, especially if you want me to keep making it, because like I've said before, I am not going to keep doing this if I don't see those engagements. And anyways, if you have any suggestions, comments, concerns, or really anything, feel free to email me at mazepod@gmail.com. Use the Q&A section on Spotify or comment on YouTube. And if you're feeling extra nice, it would help me out if you left a 5-star review and sent the Maze Pod to a friend. Remember, success doesn't come without hard work. Have the most productive week. You're all doing great, and I wish you the best. See you next episode.